Hi, I'm Zoya Brar. I'm the founder and managing director for Diagnostics, based out of Gurgaon. So far we have now grown to about 100 employees, and we are present in more than 60 cities in the country. We are present in more than 4 countries internationally. It's been quite exciting. I think a lot went according to how we had planned and better, and some things were less than better, but it's been quite exciting so far. So far, I think we are being perceived as the front runner in the high-end diagnostic space. That's a space which was quite underdeveloped before we entered. We were the first people to look at it in a very serious way. So I think just the spectrum of high-end diagnostics is something that we are doing, which other people are not doing and do not have the capability to do today. So I can answer this in a very interesting manner. In order to keep up, you first need to catch up. Because when you start after somebody, you have to get first to where they are, and then you can keep up. So I think first, because it's been we had quite a leap ahead of a lot of competitors that are coming out today. A lot of them haven't even caught up with us yet. Keeping up is long from there. I think very simply, so far whatever capex has been invested, we've been able to improve efficiency by 20 to 30% year on year for the capex that we have. Which means you do not need more additional capex. You can, within the same capex, you can keep adding new tests and sort of service the volume that you're servicing. Of course, given advantages of having one facility, you can control quality, you can ensure your processes are streamlined, are always are applicable as well. So we are of course focused in cardiology, oncology, reproductive, and endocrine. The reason is those are the disease segments where high-end diagnostics have the maximum impact. Because they help tell you where the disease will go, what the disease is, what treatment will or will not work. It's not so applicable in other areas. We are not, although limited to those. We've already launched infectious diseases, for example, which is going to be a big segment in the future, and it's going to continue to be high-end. I'll give you an example. So our venture partner, Atman Ventures, has another portfolio company in the infectious disease segment area. Even though the price points are much lower than, let's say, cancer or cardiology, but in that area, they're making this very interesting handheld device which will replace PCR entirely, and it'll be something that an Indian consumer can afford. Continues to be high-end because the technology is high-end, but is very accessible for the regular consumer. Something like that will revolutionize infectious diagnostics. So we are going to foray into other areas, but I believe in the long run these will continue to be areas where our maximum portfolio will be focused around these. I think I've said this many times, and I continue to say it because I really believe it's true. Talent is the biggest challenge. Getting the right people, keeping them interested, and then ensuring that they don't leave, and training them is the biggest problem. And I think we've done it quite well so far. You may know or may not know, our attrition rate is less than 5%, and industry average is 30%. So I think in the last 3 years we've been able to at least demonstrate to some extent. In fact, recent passes as close as last 1 second ago when I spoke about talent. I think I believe that any company is made or is broken based on the people that they have, and as a startup, that's our only asset. So it's extremely important that we not only hire the best, which is not just gated by availability, but it is gated by the fact that you select your people in a very correct manner. So for example, I don't ever ask anybody questions in my interview. I start by saying, what questions do you have for me? And I think that has helped me identify people that can think well, that understand at a much broader scope as opposed to just answering 1 or 2 interview questions. So that's one aspect. The other aspect, like I mentioned earlier, is attrition rate, and that comes from having a culture which is really unique. We have a lot of transparency, a lot of ability where there's lateral linkages as opposed to having very elaborate hierarchies. So I think all those things have contributed to an attrition rate which is very low, to a workforce which is very motivated and wants to work at Core. Actually, no, I wouldn't. The reason is money by itself is many to be had, right? For a good idea, lots of people will put in money. What I'm looking for is not money. What I'm looking for is somebody who brings in strategic partnership, that brings in contacts, that brings in know-how that is not there in the team. And at that point, money is incidental. But if there's an investor who brings those things in, that's an investor I want to talk to. Money is not that exciting by itself. Sure, yeah. No, so I'll reiterate what I was saying. I would take the money only if the money came with from somebody who brought in strategic partnerships, that brought in contacts, that brought in all of that. Money by itself, dumb money by itself is not interesting, right? Because that's money to be had. What we would do with it, of course, is invest in growth, growth, growth. I mean, that's the company now has to grow to the next level, and we are working in that direction. So, well, we are quite bold and courageous. When I started out, the first thing I did with the money, the first Series A funding that we got in, was went and bought out a lab in the US, in Silicon Valley, California. The lab was bigger than us, had 15 people, actually 20 people at that point, all PhD MDs, had been running for 4 years, and smart geniuses on board. And we went and acquired it. We did a 100% acquisition, right? So we've done it before. So I wouldn't say rumors are absolutely untrue. We have the, let's say, the bhuta to go ahead and acquire bigger companies than us, and we do believe the company is in a stage of growth, and we will have to make some strategic partnerships to take it to the next level.